One of these are not like the other. That is this one right here, the Baja Designs LP6. If you've been living under a rock, it's one of the best off-road pod lights you could put on your vehicle today. And if you didn't know, there's a lot of other manufacturers out there that are trying to make this exact same pod light, and they are failing. They're even including laser tech that I'm going to show you in a second. That is also, in my opinion, a fail. I'm going to show you guys how these compare to this. Yeah, they are going to be cheaper than the Baja Designs. They are also going to be less bright in some areas. Let's talk about first the beam patterns. So the LP6 right here, we're going to show you a spot beam pattern and a combo beam pattern. The thing is, Baja Designs can actually distinguish between the two, unlike these four that you see right here, because in the description it literally says spot, combo, wide, flood. I don't understand, is it all of them or none of them? Here's the products we specifically bought to compare to this LP6 from Baja Designs. The first one was from Amazon, around $66. It's called the Auxtings 7-inch 75-watt 6000K white side shooter. The listing title goes on for a lot longer than that, in explaining that it also has driving light, spot, flood, combo, driving lamp. None of that makes sense. All you gotta know is that it looks very similar to the LP6, and we'll find out if it's any bright. The other light was this one from Suparee. It's a 7-inch LED off-road light. It says 90 watt 6500K. We bought it for around $100. The next one we ordered was this one called OffRoad Gamers. That's a really funny name to name your off-road pod light for your Jeep or whatever, but here it is. And this one does say laser off-road light. I was really excited to see how bright this is going to be, so I had to order this one. I then saw this other one from Amazon called the OVSAUTO off-road light, 90 watt LED driving light. The issue with this is it looks exactly like the OffRoad Gamers light. I don't know if this is just another one of those classic order it from a manufacturer and slap your own name on it, or if it's actually got a different brightness. So we'll be able to figure that out. This one was only around $66, whereas the other one was $98, $99. So first thing I want to do is power all of these up. I'm going to be about 35 feet from this wall. I'm going to show you guys and then measure it with a digital lux meter to find out if they're any bright. Now, when I said Baja Designs understands where to put their light and what kind of driving beam pattern they have, this is what I mean. This is their combo lens on the LP6, and you can see that there's actual definition in this shape. It's not just a bunch of scattered light. It's not a floodlight. It's specifically designed to be this way. Generally, a combo beam pattern is supposed to give you that down the road punch, but also a little bit of fill on the sides. And the LP6 does an incredible job of it. You will also notice that the lights that they provide on the sides of these pod lights really do help with the ambient light. When you're driving in the woods, you don't just want an extremely bright spot in the middle. You do want some ambient light, so that's why I think the LP6 is one of the best off-road pod lights you can buy. Here is what the spot beam pattern looks like. So all I did was switch over the lens from the combo lens to the spot lens, and this is what it looks like. As you can see, you got this intense hot spot in the middle, but you still have that ambient light that I was talking about. That ambient light is very useful when you're in the woods. So now that you know they actually designed these with different specific beam patterns in mind, let's put in the Auxtings 7-inch 75 watt and see what that looks like. Now here is what the Auxtings looks like. And as you can see, first off, the color is a lot more blue. It's a more cool blue, but it's more of a spot beam pattern as well. Now remember, this says driving light, spot, flood, combo. It doesn't really know what it is. So in my opinion, I'll name it for them. This is the spot beam pattern. And as you can see, it's not that bright at all. You do got that hot spot in the middle and not a whole lot else. We used the digital lux meter when we read the Baja Designs, and it was 3,950 maximum lux. When we measured this one, it was 73% less bright. We measured 1,040 maximum lux. So this is not as bright. It's not as big of a beam pattern. The hotspot is not as big. And in my opinion, this is useless. You do not need this. You need something with a little bit more ambient light, but you also want something that is going to actually give you a down the road punch. So Auxtings 7-inch round, don't waste your money on this $66 piece of garbage. Here's what the Suparee looks like. Again, this one doesn't know what it is. Is it a work light? Is it a spotlight? In my opinion, this is not a floodlight. This is also a spot. So I'm going to compare this to the LP6 spot. The light emitting from this pod light is much less. As you can see, it doesn't light up from the end of the wall to the end of the wall like the LP6 does. So the beam pattern is much smaller. It also is not bright at all. We measured only 530 maximum lux. That was terrible. That was 86% less bright. Now you might be wondering, what is that super intense spot in the middle? Well, that is the light emitting from the laser. Mind you, guys, this will burn out over time. If you are only paying $99 for a off-road pod light with a laser technology, it will burn out. I have yet to see something with laser tech that does not burn out. But that doesn't even matter. Let's say this worked for 20 years. What is that light good for? If you're turning in the woods, what are you pointing at? One little ant on a tree or something? This is not usable. This is not what I would recommend as an off-road pod light. You can't even go 4,000 miles an hour to make this spotlight usable. That's what spotlights are made for. That's what these big off-road pod lights are for, to give you that downrange punch so you can see where you're going at high speeds. But what you're gonna put this on is not going to be getting 200-300 miles an hour. We measured 2,920 maximum lux on this Suparee. And when you compare that to the LP6 spot of 3,950 lux, even with this laser beam, it's 26% less bright than the spot. I don't know about you, but even with laser tech, I don't want something less bright than the actual Baja LP6. Here's what the off-road gamers looks like, and this does have light emitting all around the hotspot, and it is touching the wall on both sides. So the area of which the light emits from this off-road pod light is pretty great. That is a good sign. However, it is not bright. And as you can see, this pencil beam, it's got a small spot on the wall that's any bright, and that is from the laser again. But this is only a $99 product. Again, you don't want this. We did measure 5,820 maximum lux from this, and I'm gonna call this a spot beam pattern as well. So compared to the spot, it is 47% brighter than the LP6. So yay, one of the Amazon knockoffs is brighter than the LP6, but that does not tell the story. That right there is so small. Again, that hotspot is essentially unusable. That is not what you want, and just because it's brighter doesn't mean it's better. Baja Designs spends a lot of time refining their optics to be actually usable when you're driving down the road. This is not usable. Well, looking at the beam pattern, it's essentially the same. This is the exact same thing, so if you are looking for something stupid cheap, I don't know, get this one. It's $66 instead of $99. But again, like I said, it's got that spot beam from the laser that is still useless. For this one, I measured 3,770 maximum lux. So I guess it's not as bright as the other one. This is actually 4% less bright than the LP6 spot beam pattern. It doesn't even matter though, because like I said, this is useless. The OVSAUTO, the OffRoad Gamer, the Suparee, and the Auxtings are all garbage. They do not have a refined output that I would like. But what about the features? Are the features worth buying these versus the LP6? To understand the features of these, all you really have to do is look at the back. So on the back of the LP6, you see this 4-pin Deutsch connector already integrated on the back side of this off-road pod light. When I say 4-pin, that often means that it's got a backlight. So if it's got 4 wires, it generally will have a backlight. But I want to show you the wiring on the back side of any one of these other competitors. This right here is bare wire, and this is not what you want. This actually has 3, so I'll show you what this does. It has a DRL. However, look at this bare wire. This is an off-road LED pod light. That means you're going to be mounting these on your vehicle in the rain, the snow, the mud, and the last thing you want is to have to use heat shrink on your off-road pod light. Obviously, you don't have to do that with the Baja Designs. All of these have that bare wire on the back side. So judging by this, I don't see a backlight out of the Auxtings or the Suparee, but the OffRoad Gamers does, and it looks like this. The OVSAUTO looks like this when you power it up, And the LP6 looks like this when you power up that backlight. Judging by those light outputs, you could definitely tell that even with laser technology, you're not going to find something that's better than the LP6 if it's a blatant knockoff. And you're also not going to find something that's $50 to $100 that's going to be brighter than the King. When I say this is the King, it is one of the top pod lights in the world because we have tested. We've used third-party testing from Calcoast to also reaffirm all of our numbers and all of our testing in a video that we just made about all of these big off-road pod lights. You guys got to check out that video because we test every single huge off-road pod light on the market to try to find which ones are best. And as you can see in the light output results, the LP6 was one of the reigning champions. We do sell it at headlightrevolution.com. We do sell a whole bunch of other off-road pod lights as well for your vehicle. So be sure to check out our website and just know that at Headlight Revolution, we waste a ton of money so that you don't have to. Check out all of our testings on our YouTube channel and we'll see you guys there.